Are you tired of waking up with a sore back every spring after spending hours wrestling with a shovel in your garden? What if I told you that all that sweating, digging, and turning is not just a waste of your time, but it is actually destroying your soil? Today, I am going to share a secret that completely changed the way I grow food. It is a concept I like to call being as lazy as a forest. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why the smartest gardeners in the world have permanently retired their rototillers. We are going to uncover the hidden truth about what really happens beneath the dirt when you dig, and how doing absolutely nothing might just be the greatest gardening hack of all time. Are you ready to agree to the lazy way, or are you going to defend your shovel in the comments? Let us dive in. For generations, we have been conditioned by modern agriculture to believe that soil needs to be broken apart. We see massive tractors plowing fields on television, and we mimic that on a smaller scale in our backyards. We were taught that turning the earth aerates it, kills weeds, and prepares a soft bed for tiny seedling roots. But this is a relatively new, man-made invention. Before heavy machinery and chemical fertilizers, nature had been growing massive, lush ecosystems for millions of years without ever turning a single clump of dirt. The core idea we are exploring today is rooted in permaculture and natural farming. It is about stepping back, observing how nature builds fertility on her own, and simply copying her homework. So let us tackle the biggest myth right out of the gate: the idea that we need to dig to aerate the soil. For generations, we have been told that plants need fluffy, turned-over dirt to stretch their roots. But what actually happens when you plunge that spade in and turn everything upside down? You are completely destroying an invisible, highly organized world. Imagine your soil as a bustling, well-built city. There are microscopic highways, apartment buildings made of soil aggregates, and a delicate plumbing system that holds water perfectly. When you dig, you're basically dropping a massive earthquake on that city. You crush the highways, collapse the buildings, and break the plumbing. The soil might look fluffy for a few days, but the moment it rains, all that broken structure collapses into a solid, heavy brick of mud. Instead of giving your plants air, you end up suffocating them in compacted dirt once it dries out. This is exactly why people who dig their gardens have to keep digging every single year. They created the very problem they are trying to solve. But nature has a completely different approach. Mother Nature never uses a rototiller to create perfectly aerated soil. She relies on the natural movement of roots, insects, and microorganisms to build a spongy, breathable environment that lasts forever. So put the shovel down. Now, let us talk about the real heroes of your garden. The ones who do all the heavy lifting while you are sipping lemonade on the porch. I am talking about the soil food web. Beneath the surface of your garden lies an incredibly complex network of beneficial bacteria, microscopic fungi, and millions of earthworms. These guys are the ultimate recycling crew. Fungi, for example, create massive microscopic webs called mycorrhizal networks. These webs attach to plant roots and act like an internet system, sending water and nutrients exactly where they are needed. When you dig up the soil, you slice this vital network into pieces. You are essentially cutting the internet cables to your plants. On top of that, digging exposes the delicate bacteria to harsh sunlight and dry air, instantly killing millions of beneficial microbes. And let us not forget the earthworms. They are the best tillers in the world, gently creating tunnels that let air and water flow deep underground. Chopping them in half with a spade is not exactly a great way to say thank you for their hard work. By choosing not to dig, you are protecting this massive underground workforce. They will break down organic matter, fight off plant diseases, and feed your vegetables. All you have to do is leave them alone to do their jobs. This brings us to the ultimate inspiration for lazy gardening: the forest. Have you ever taken a walk in a lush, ancient woodland and looked at the ground beneath your feet? The trees are massive, the ferns are vibrant, and the ecosystem is thriving. But nobody is out there in the woods turning the soil every spring. There is no magical woodland gardener with a tractor. So, how does the forest do it? It uses a top-down approach. Every autumn, trees drop their leaves. Plants die back. Branches fall. All of this debris piles up on the surface of the ground, creating a protective blanket. Over time, the bottom layer of this blanket rots down, turning into dark, rich, crumbly compost. This natural mulch protects the soil from the beating sun and pounding rain. It feeds the worms, which then travel up to the surface, grab a leaf, and pull it down into the earth. The forest builds its soil from the top down, layer by layer, year after year. As a lazy gardener, all you're doing is copying this exact same forest system in your own backyard. You stop trying to mix the ingredients into the dirt, and instead, you just lay them on top. It is a fundamental shift in how we think about growing food, moving from fighting nature to simply mimicking her smartest tricks. Let us move on to something every gardener hates with a passion: weeds. Pulling weeds is backbreaking, endless, and incredibly frustrating. But what if I told you that your digging habit is the exact reason you have so many weeds in the first place? Here's a fascinating fact. Every square inch of garden soil contains thousands of tiny, dormant weed seeds just waiting for their moment. Many of these seeds can sleep in the dark depths of the soil for decades, doing absolutely nothing. But to wake up and sprout, they need one specific trigger: a flash of sunlight. When you dig or till your garden, you are taking all those dormant seeds from the dark, safe depths, and flipping them right up to the sunny surface. You are literally planting your own weeds. It is madness when you really think about it. By adopting the no-dig method, you leave those sleeping seeds buried deep where they can never germinate. Instead of bringing up old seeds, you simply place a thick layer of fresh compost or mulch right on top of the soil. Any weed seeds that happen to land on the surface are easily pulled because the loose, fluffy compost on top offers no resistance. Your weed problem will drop by 90% in the very first year. It is the ultimate hack for anyone who prefers relaxing over pulling dandelions all weekend. Another massive benefit of acting like a lazy forest is how you handle water. We are seeing hotter summers and longer droughts, making watering a daily, exhausting chore. Tilled soil is terrible at holding moisture. Because its natural structure has been shattered, water tends to pool on the surface and evaporate quickly, or it runs off the sides entirely. Bare, dug-up dirt is like a dry, dusty desert under the summer sun. But when you use the no-dig method, your soil acts like a giant, super-absorbent sponge. That thick layer of organic matter you placed on top shades the soil below, keeping it cool and protected from the harsh sun. Think of it like this. If you put a wet sponge on your driveway in the middle of July, it will dry out in 10 minutes. But if you cover that same wet sponge with a thick towel, it will stay damp all day. Your mulch and compost are that towel. Furthermore, because you have not destroyed the natural worm tunnels and root pathways by digging, rain can soak deeply into the earth instead of just washing away. Your plants grow deeper, more resilient roots to reach this stored water. You will find yourself watering half as often as your neighbors, saving time, money, and a precious natural resource. It really is a win for everybody involved. So, how do you actually start this lazy revolution in your own yard? It is almost laughably simple. You do not need expensive machines or hours of intense labor. The secret weapon of the no-dig gardener is something you probably throw away every week: plain brown cardboard. Let us say you want to turn a patch of stubborn, weed-filled lawn into a thriving vegetable bed. Instead of ripping up the grass, which takes hours of sweating and cursing, you simply mow it as short as possible. Then, you cover the entire area with overlapping sheets of plain cardboard. Make sure there are no gaps, or the weeds will find a way through. Remove any plastic tape or shiny labels first, of course. This cardboard layer acts as a temporary weed barrier. It completely blocks the sunlight, causing the grass and weeds underneath to die and slowly decompose. As they break down, they actually feed your new garden bed. It is a genius move. You are turning your worst enemies into free fertilizer. And do not worry about the cardboard. Within a few months, it will completely rot away, eaten by grateful earthworms, leaving you with a clean, clear slate. This simple trick saves you weeks of miserable, backbreaking labor and sets the stage for the easiest garden you have ever grown. Once you have your cardboard laid down, it is time for the final, crucial step: piling on the organic matter. You just dump a thick layer of compost right on top of the cardboard. You want about 4 to 6 inches of good, rich compost, and that is it. You do not mix it in. You do not fork it over. You just spread it out like frosting on a cake. You can plant your vegetables directly into this fresh compost layer immediately. The roots will grow down through the compost, eventually piercing the softening cardboard, and reach the native soil below. As the season progresses, you can add other organic materials to the surface, just like the forest does: grass clippings, fallen leaves, straw, or wood chips on the pathways. All of this creates an armor for your soil. And remember our friends, the earthworms? When they realize there is a massive buffet of compost sitting right above them, they will push up through the rotting cardboard to feast. When they travel back down, they carry the rich nutrients from the surface deep into the subsoil. They do all the digging, mixing, and aerating for you. You have essentially hired a microscopic army to tend your garden 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and their only required payment is a pile of old leaves and compost. The most beautiful part of the lazy forest method is the compounding effect over time. When you dig a garden traditionally, you start from zero every single spring. You are constantly fighting a losing battle against soil depletion, compaction, and weeds. But with the no-dig approach, your garden actually gets better, softer, and more productive with every passing year. By year 3, you will experience what I call the miracle soil. You will be able to push your bare hand deep into the earth with zero resistance. The soil will be dark, smelling of rich forest rain, and teeming with life. Your plants will be noticeably larger, healthier, and far more resistant to pests and diseases. Because the soil ecosystem is perfectly balanced, natural predators will keep the bad bugs in check. You will spend your weekends actually enjoying your garden, harvesting beautiful organic food, rather than treating it like a punishing workout routine. You transition from being a manual laborer to being the manager of a thriving biological system. It requires patience and trust in the natural process, but the reward is immense. Once you experience the sheer joy of planting in soft, undisturbed living soil, I promise you, you will never look at a shovel the same way again. The incredible truth is that the less you do to your soil, the more it will do for you. By stepping back and letting nature take the wheel, you preserve the vital underground networks, trap moisture, naturally suppress weeds, and build fertility that lasts a lifetime. You literally trade hours of agonizing labor for bountiful, effortless harvests. It really is the ultimate plot twist. Mother Nature has been showing us the blueprint for millions of years, right inside every forest. Thank you so much for watching. If this video convinced you to embrace your inner lazy gardener, please hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and share it with a friend who still wrestles with a rototiller. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you going to try the cardboard method this season, or are you still nervous about putting the shovel away? Let us debate it down in the comments.